Hi, it's Alyssa, Tachles in Tel Aviv. You're going to hear some noise in the background. That's just a biblical storm. It's just how it rolls here in Israel. It's interesting because I just took some time to sit by the dark sea at this point. I'm definitely addicted, even going there when it's dark out. And it's just so incredibly calming. Tel Aviv is an incredible city. Really, really is. As a New Yorker, I say this all the time, and I know I get frustrated about the mentality here because it's true. I just feel that people may take the greatness of Tel Aviv for granted. It's a super cute city. It's inspiring. I mean, the idea that you can go from your urban lifestyle, your city job, and then all of a sudden just take a break and you're like, I'm going to go to the sea. I'm just going to watch some waves. I'm just going to just listen. And then just now I saw far, far in the distance a storm brewing up. So it was just lighting up the skies in the most beautiful of ways. And so you're going to keep hearing it because it's biblical. And what was going through my brain? Well, Hamas really just rained down rockets on Israel for the last few days, and now there is a ceasefire. You know, we say here all the time, we cease and they fire. And I've heard someone talk about in 2014 there was a ceasefire, but in reality it just was Hamas building up their collection of weaponry that they're just going to use against Israel every couple of years. This was so bad, though. It was more than 500 rockets, and there were deaths. It's just so horrible. And then all of a sudden a ceasefire. So what's the point of that? You can terrorize another country. You can get funding from all over the world because you're so victimized. The reality of it is we spend millions of money defending ourselves with the Iron Dome. And those rockets maybe cost $250,000 for the Gazan Arab terrorists to just torture Israel. I mean, they have tortured the southern border of Israel. To what means? To what ends? It never stops. For months and months and months, the Gazan Arabs were instructed to go to the border, to revolt against Israel for, I don't know, everything. And it's just a false narrative. And I'm not being ignorant about this. We're living here, we're experiencing it, we're speaking to the soldiers after they come back from the border. Where would the fake news be? Where would the lies be? But we can prove on the other side. I mean, terror tunnels? Is there anything positive about that? Well, they'll say that there's some sort of underground trade, but it's not true. It's just full of weapons. It's just a horrible tunnel of complete terror. What is it that the liberal Jews in America, what is it that my friends that are very pro-Palestinian, which to me means anti-Israel, what are they behind? What are they so angry about Israel? I was sitting there at the sea and I keep thinking to myself, do they not understand what Israel is? Do they not understand that, it's a civilization, they're civilized people most of the time, when they're not acting with their mentality in their jungle ways. But I think a lot of countries have that. But I really, really wonder about my friends that are pro-Palestinian and what they have against Israel. Here and there I've heard, well, you've taken away land or you bother people at the checkpoints. Checkpoints. Everybody's got some sort of border, some sort of security. When it's fully known that a terrorist comes from certain areas, of course there's going to be some level of border and checkpoint. So maybe it's a tough checkpoint. I'm sure it is. But is that any reason to terrorize another country? Land, for example. Well, they're always fighting in the Supreme Court about property rights and land. They'll knock down a Jewish home. Yeah, as much as they'll knock down the home of a family of a terrorist. So, again, what is it that you think is okay for Hamas to shoot more than 500 rockets at Israel and then for Israel not to defend itself? So a lot of times we have the aftermath after this balagan. Balagan is the word that's like chaos. So afterwards you'll hear in all the news about Israel attacking Gaza and killing civilians and all these really horrible headlines. And honestly, it makes every Israeli really super uncomfortable. It does, because Israel has a right to defend itself. And again, getting rained on by 500 rockets is not comfortable in the least bit. I can't even fathom New York or California or Texas or any other city in the world or country in the world receiving 500 rockets and doing nothing, except the next day signing a ceasefire. Great. So where are we? We're no better than we were 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10, 20. It never stops. And if the world keeps being pro-Palestinian, it's just going to get worse. It's like just funding pure terrorism. Ciao for now. Peace from the Middle East.